Start again. Good evening, everyone. So today we are going to have the first live session for computer graphics course. So I am Samit Bhattacharya. I am the instructor for this course, and you have probably seen me in the videos. So I am here to answer your queries. If you have any doubt, please raise, and I will try to answer it to the best of my abilities. Please note that this is not going to be a lecture session, so I am not going to talk unless you raise your doubt. So please go ahead and raise doubts if you have any regarding the course. Please raise your doubts if you have anything. I am not going to take any class. So unless you raise your doubts, I am not going to speak much. It's related to some forgotten user ID something. So I don't think I can help there. So those of you who are present, you can talk to me or you can raise your query through chat option. Or you can raise your hand and I can then initiate conversation with you. Good afternoon. Yes, Rakesh, very good afternoon. Good afternoon to all of you. So I hope that so far you have managed to learn few things from the course and you have enjoyed the course, whatever lectures have been put out so far. Where can I see the messages? No, somebody just posted some message. Oh, so that was not related to mine. Okay. So I'd like to repeat again, those of you who are attending this live session, please note that I am not going to deliver any lecture. I am waiting for your queries. If you have any queries, if you require any clarification regarding the content of the course or anything related to the course, please raise those. I will be happy to answer the best of my abilities. But I am not going to deliver any lecture today in this live session. So I am waiting for your queries if you have any. Is this message related to my course? So it looks like there is no query from any of you. Is any of the learners is here? If you have any query, please post or you can directly talk to me. So we'll be waiting for another 5 minutes. If by that time nothing comes, then we'll probably close this session, as it looks like there is no doubt or none of you require any clarification regarding the course. If you have doubts, please go ahead. Please put it here, either through chat or by raising your hand so that I can talk to you. Can they unmute their microphone? Yeah, they can. Yes, Payal Bagmare. Your question is not very clear. You asked for some basic things of computer graphics. Can you elaborate what you mean by basic things? Because whatever basic things you require are already there as part of the course. So if you have attended the lectures, you have gone through the lectures, then you probably already know what is computer graphics, what are its application areas, what are the things that we should know. Apart from that, what other basic things you need to know, please let me know so that I can answer. Also, if you have not understood from the lectures, let me just briefly talk about the basic idea of computer graphics. So it is a field of study that deals with displays, essentially how to display content on a screen, computer screen. That is the basic idea of computer graphics. In order to do that, several computations take place. For better understanding and management of these computations, we think of the entire rendering process, that is the display of things on the screen, as consisting of a series of stages. Together, these stages form a pipeline, which we call graphics pipeline. Essentially, computer graphics means knowledge and understanding of the stages of the graphics pipeline, the computations that are involved, the objectives of each stage of the pipeline, and so on. All these things are covered in this course. So that is the basic idea of computer graphics. And here we are focusing mostly on 3D graphics. That means we are interested to generate 3D scenes on the screen. So how to do that? What are the stages? What are the computations involved? What are the algorithms involved? All these things we have covered in this course. CRT is a display technology which is nowadays no longer used much except in very specialized situations. Stands for cathode ray tube. C stands for cathode, R stands for ray, T stands for tube. So even 10-15 years ago, it used to be the most predominant technology for display devices. But nowadays, CRTs are no longer used much. Instead, we get to see LED displays, LCD displays, mostly LED and LCD displays nowadays. As I said, CRT is not used much nowadays. CRT, of course, used to be bulky device, and compared to that, LCD is much better. And nowadays, initial days, LCD used to be costlier than CRT, but nowadays its cost has reduced, and it takes up less space than a CRT device. So it is better. CRT is not better. Yes, hello, is there someone? Okay, from Manas. Yes, so it is, I think the question is related to exam. So the question paper will be objective type, of course. It may contain MCQ, MSQ, and short answer type questions. So, but those will be objective types, no descriptive questions will be there. Hello, is there someone? E. Roja Ramani, would you like to say anything? Okay, so there is one more question. What is frame buffer in computer graphics and what's its use? Okay, so in the relevant lecture, I don't know whether you have gone through the lectures, and in a lecture, I explained the concepts of frame buffer. So essentially, it is a storage used to store the intensity values for pixel grids. The frame is nothing but a pixel grid, and frame buffer stores the intensity values corresponding to the grid elements. Now, why we need buffer? Because otherwise there will be problem in synchronizing between the speed at which these values of the pixel intensities are calculated and the speed with which those are used to generate the actual content on the screen. There is typically some lag between the computation speed and the speed at which the values are used to render things on the screen. To synchronize between these two ends of the process, an intermediate storage is used that is called frame buffer. So here the computed values are stored and then the rendering hardware takes those values and renders them. So even if the rendering is slower compared to computation, but still the values are stored, it will not be much problem. However, single buffer is not used. Generally, two buffers are used. At least two buffers are required. More is also sometimes used. Format of what? Frame buffer. So definitely the format will be in bits. So again, in the lighting part, I discussed how to convert the computation to bits, and those bit patterns are stored in frame buffer. So for each pixel value, there will be some representation in bit strings, depending on the size of the pixel element, that is how many bits it can support. So many bits will be there to represent that value. So eventually you will get a binary file in terms of zeros and ones. One basic advantage of raster scan. The most basic advantage of raster scan is that it is easier to make. So the hardware required for raster scan devices are relatively easier to make compared to vector scan devices. Vector scan devices require high precision, whereas raster scan devices do not require that much precision because here all the pixel elements are scanned. So simpler devices can help. So accordingly, the cost of the device is generally less for raster scan devices. And so we get to see such devices in popular places. Vector scan devices require more precision, which in turn require more cost for development, which makes them costly. Well, all things are important, so I cannot say that please go through this part and don't understand or try to understand the other parts. So all parts are important, and it is difficult to point out which one is more important. And I don't like to do that. Otherwise, you probably will not go through the entire part, and then you will have a limited knowledge of supply. So my suggestion is go through the entire parts of lecture 1 and 2. So please see the relevant lecture. In terms of illustration, it is clearly mentioned how many bits are required. So you will have a better understanding rather than me saying now, as you need the illustration also. So in the Cohen-Sutherland lecture, for 3D case, I have already mentioned what are the things to be considered and how many bits are required. So please check there. If you have any further queries, please raise those queries. I will be happy to answer. Okay, it appears that not many queries are there from those who are still part of the live session. So it was good meeting all of you. Maybe we can wait for 1 more minute. If by that time no queries come, then I think we're going to close the session. So if you have anything to ask, please go ahead and do it now. Otherwise, we're going to close the session. So we'll wait for 1 more minute. Okay, so I think there is no more queries. So thank you all. I think I managed to answer the queries that you raised to your satisfaction. And there will be one more live session in the next month for this course. So if you still have any queries, doubts, anything, you will get one more opportunity to get those clarified. Looking forward to meet you all in the next live session. Thank you and goodbye.